We're live. Yay! We didn't cheers, by the way. We got
cheers. Hi, witches.
Cheers to everybody out there.
Hello.
Having something. Oh.
Hello, witches. Good evening.
Happy August.
Happy
Oh my gosh. So Lunasow just happened, and it's Lunasow season. So don't get too hung up if you weren't able to do something on August 1st. This is just the time for it. And then also full moon was just like on the same day. I woke up very motivated that day. How about you? On August 1st? Not so much? I had a crazy July.
I don't remember.
So, I felt like I woke up and I was just like ready to go and start some stuff, start some projects or get things done that I really needed to get done. So
I know I had kind of an epiphany this week. I'm like, you need to stop being lazy and get your projects done around your house. I was like, oh shit. I'm just letting stuff go, like not dusting. And
you want to hear something funny?
Yeah, go ahead.
So I'm remodeling my office right now, you guys, to create more of my aesthetic. It matches my house, which is a very neutral kind of beachy theme. We live in Florida, obviously. But so I told my husband, I'm like, I want to paint my office walls. He goes, are you going to paint them black? And I was like, oh,
close.
How do you feel about that? And it's like a space that people have to walk through, So people would see it. And I was like, not black, but I'm really thinking about, a dark blue and a dark green. And he's like, you have a million other projects you could finish first before you start painting. Speaking of that, I loved his answer. And my husband never tells me no, don't do that. Usually he's like, yeah, whatever you want to do, just do it, have fun. But he goes, no, you need to finish up the 15 projects that you already have going in the basement right now, the garage.
Oh,
so
he put the hammer down.
He did.
I can't believe that he never does that.
I know he never says no to my ideas.
He never says no.
He's tired of my shit.
It's whatever you want, honey. Whatever makes you happy.
So he says. But he's like, I've said yes too many times and now nothing's finished. So he's a little... Maybe he's perturbed. I don't know.
He's like, gosh, I wish something would get finished. Yeah.
So
I don't know if you noticed the wall behind me, but
Callie did her wall.
So I saw this in a video last week. I usually don't watch these lives because it's weird to watch yourself, and I don't like to. And I know I'm supposed to, but I don't.
Get better.
But last week I watched and I was like, oh my gosh, I need to fix that because it was just like all these candles. So I'm so happy with it. Listen, this is what I do now. I go by there and I touch it and oh, there's a speck of dust on there. Let me get it off. It's so funny.
So now she loves that space.
So I love it now, and I'm giving it
happy.
a lot of attention, which really makes me happy. So hello, Selena. Hello,
Hi,
Jeannie.
Selena.
Jenny.
Sorry. We have to lean in, the computer screen or the chat at least is smaller.
All right, so it's August. So we have 4 of these. This is
left.
We have 4 of these
after
left.
This, because today's 8, right? There's
8, 9. Yeah, we have 4 after this.
Yeah.
So we go through August 31st, and then we jump. And then we're in September. We're doing tarot class.
The tarot class. We've been working hard on this, you guys.
Mm-hmm.
I've never taught tarot like this, and it's a lot. Obviously, it's going to be an 11-week course.
Yep.
Well,
which is
meetup
class. Meetup.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
tarot is huge.
Tarot is a huge topic.
It really is, and
it's a lot.
I have some interest. Yeah, I have books like How to Read Tarot, here the ultimate guide to tarot, all this stuff, right? And I was opening them up today just for some whatever
ideas or something.
Yeah, ideas or some I don't know, just because they're there on the shelf and I've never read them. Let me see what this book says. So the thing that I noticed about them is that they tell you what the interpretation is based on the reading. If it's one of them, I have this ultimate guide to tarot, and it's if it's career, if it's love, if it's relationship, if it's this, if it's that. So it gives you it interprets it for you. And I'm like, okay, that's fine, but that's not how you learn to read tarot cards. You can't go to a book and look at what's the question.
Yeah.
It has to be intuitive. It has to become intuitive.
It's got to be easy enough to start at least. It needs to be easy enough that you can see it in the card so that you're not looking at a book every single time. But these are all the things that we're working out on how we're going to teach tarot.
How are we going to teach tarot? That is a big thing.
Super interesting.
We're excited about it though. So And by the way, I'm announcing it tomorrow on Meetup. So look for, if you're on, follow us on Meetup, look for that message in your uh, email, because I think that's where it goes, notifying you that meetings have been scheduled, and you will be able to join. Yeah, whatever. Say you're coming.
Well, and then of course we'll be posting just the replay part, not the question part, on YouTube. Yay.
Yeah. All right. Well,
We'll
let's get to this week's episode of A Witch Reacts.
And I'm still feeling nervous that Kat and I are going to choose a similar topic or question. So she has an extra one prepared tonight. So it's, I mean, if we get through all 12 weeks with us never choosing the same topic, I'm going to be shocked.
That just tells you how much stuff is out there.
There is a lot of stuff, yeah.
There's a lot. And you don't get on Facebook as much as I do. Every day I'm scrolling through and reading them. So
no, that's tough for me.
Okay, so this is A Witch Reacts. So here's my reaction.
We didn't ask the question yet.
It's not a question though. Okay, well,
that's always
it's not really a question.
And remember, you're gonna read the question and let me react, because we're not great at this yet.
Okay, that's right.
We're so used to teaching our lessons that we answer our own questions too often. So
all right.
What did you hear this week?
Okay, so this week I read that a person got called out at work for veiling.
For veiling.
And their boss told them that veiling was unprofessional. And I'm like, what the heck is veiling?
Yep.
Then that's why I say my reaction, WTF, because it's like, what are all these oddball things that people come up with? They seem very cliquish, faddish, very faddish. Like, where do these things come from? So I'm like, okay. So that I. So
all right. Well, can I guess at what veiling is? Like,
yeah, go ahead.
Well, this is weird because it's at work and somebody's confronting her about it. So, like, does she work at a witchcraft shop that they would know that she's doing? I mean, this is supposed to be about a witchcraft thing, and I've never heard of veiling.
Well, it's in a witchcraft group, and then people answered. So you don't know what veiling is?
No.
Okay.
So I don't get to answer. My reaction is, what the fuck?
Yeah.
So, okay. All right. I get it now. I get it. Okay. So please tell us what veiling is.
Based on the answers that were in the chat where the question was asked, veiling is when you wear like a bandana type thing, like, or some kind of a head
wrap.
You know what? It looks like just like what I used to wear with the triangle, and you just tie it back. It's a scarf or something.
Yeah, a bandana.
Yeah, a bandana. You know how you wear them, like you tie them under. It's like when you're cleaning your house, or you do them like this. Anyway, so evidently, what veiling is it's a form of protection. So when you're wearing this scarf on your hair, like maybe it's tied back like this, or it's, whatever, however you have it on your head, that is called veiling, and it's a form of protection. That's what I got out of it. But
so it's using a modern thing like a hairstyle or an accessory, like a piece of jewelry that you charm. Okay. All right. I'm trying to make a connection here for that. Okay. And it makes sense to be called veiling because it goes on your head, maybe. So they are placing this on their body with the intent of protection. Well, yeah. I think in color theory, it's one of the reasons why I wear a lot of black for color magic. I mean, I feel like it's a protective color. So I get that, but I just know I've never heard of wearing a hair piece of any kind that would be called veiling. No, thank you for informing us. If anybody knew what that
you
was,
guys know what veiling, if you guys have heard of veiling.
chat.
So I think it reminds me of like how the egg cleanse, if anybody's on social media. Did we talk about the egg cleanse?
We have talked about it a little bit. Yeah.
So to me, in my mind, this is kind of like the egg cleanse, where somebody comes up with something and then everyone jumps on board with it.
But they don't know what they're doing.
But they don't know
where it's from.
They don't know where it's from. It's just something that somebody made up on TikTok or whatever. And, I'm like, is this really helping what I think is baby witch? Is this really helping your spiritual path? I mean, with this stuff, or can we spend our energy someplace else? And the other thing I think is stop wasting eggs. Stop wasting the eggs.
Well, what I think is that if you are going to talk about a practice, that it should be explained fully and not just like as the fad. I did an egg cleansing, no other stuff in there. Like, what is an egg cleansing? What does it do? How do we do it? Nobody looks that up, and they're like, read my egg.
And that's the
Sorry,
thing, like
that
when you
sounded
look
really
at
funny.
this, like, what am I even looking for
Yeah.
at here? It doesn't look like anything to me.
No.
I've probably seen 100 of them in the group that I'm in. Of these, people are like, what does this mean? I was like, it's an egg in a glass. I don't know. What does it mean to you? It's just, it's kind of a.
I loved one that the girl said, she said, whatever. It was negative egg, I guess. So the reading was it was negative, so not positive, and that she then added ingredients and flushed it down the toilet, but then there were bubbles left over. And I'm like, that egg is like, can be a powder that is then used for bubbles, like borax and stuff. So I'm like, people don't even understand the ingredients of the things, and then they're like, that must be something. I was like, no, it's literally the chemical makeup of it. Unfortunately, it doesn't mean anything evil. Eggs just produce bubbles. It's okay. That's like saying I flushed it down the toilet and my toilet water turned yellow, or like it left a yellow stain. Oh shit, what happened? Yolk is yellow and it stains. So it's just it's all the hype, no explanation, and then like put it out to the world and be like, what happened?
And then you have a bunch of people doing it and not really understanding why they're doing it or what it's supposed to mean, or maybe the whole intent behind it. So Selena and Susanna both have commented about veiling. So Selena's heard of it, and she says heard a lot of people doing it when they are meeting new people.
Okay.
So I assume that instead of just wearing a scarf, you're doing something to the scarf before you put it on your head.
It's
like
doing something with intention.
There's a ritual
Yeah.
behind it. When you put it on, you're like, this protects me. It's like when you wear
it's amulets, charmed items.
Like
so I can see where it could come in.
Okay, and then Susanna says some traditions include hair or head covering as protection. Yeah. Okay.
Hey, none of your business. So, good evening. Okay, well, veiling. Now,
so that's
another
something.
thing to add.
That's something new.
Okay, so now knowing that, would you add that to your practice? How likely is it that you'll add it to your practice?
Not very likely.
Not very likely.
No.
I guess I use like my clothing, or I use jewelry or stones that I wear.
I like crystals.
Yeah. So
if I'm gonna wear something, it's gonna be crystals.
A natural. Well, I mean, I guess the cloth.
Well, I like the look of them too.
Yeah.
And
it's aesthetically pleasing to your.
And
aesthetic.
And there's so many different crystals, and then they're conversation starters too. I have found. When you're wearing like some statement pieces, like some jewelry,
people recognize it's like that's when another witch is like.
When you meet other witches and you're wearing a big moonstone or you're wearing amethyst. Yeah. Hi, Kay Hopper. When you're wearing something like that, other witches recognize other people who are practicing.
It's definitely like a.
And I would never look at somebody with a veil on of some sort or bandana on their head and think they were. I wouldn't make that connection.
It wouldn't be in our practice, but doesn't mean that doesn't exist. And there's every kind of witch out there. So that's
sure.
Thank you for informing us. It's super interesting.
And that's why I'm here.
Okay.
That's why we're here.
Keeping it interesting. All right. This is kind of a deep one. I'm going to go with the deep one first because this really got me thinking, and I don't have a good answer for it yet. I'm hoping that I do well once we start talking about it.
Okay.
All right. This is from somebody really new, and it's about feeling out energies, right? Like, how do you feel the energy of a place, of a room?
Oh my God, we have the same one.
I finally have it.
That's okay.
I knew it.
I have that one too. So just because we talked about this just a minute ago.
Well, I didn't finish the question.
No, it's okay. I'm just gonna say that I have the one about how do you feel energy vibration with people and things. So I got that one too. So tonight is the first time, and we're at week number 8, and it's the first time that we picked the same question from all the stuff. So I'm glad I have backups.
Yeah.
Go ahead. All right.
I told you I felt it. I was like, I still think it's gonna happen.
Okay.
So the last part, it's like, so how do you feel energy? Like, how do you recognize energy? Where do you start to learn to even do that? And then it's, she talked about it with being stuff first, or maybe people or places. But then she's like, how do I feel my own energy? How would I know what my energy is? And I took that as, how do I know when I might need to cleanse? How do I know what my rituals need to be? Where do you learn that? Where do you learn to pick up on energy? And this felt hard for me when I heard it. So I cannot wait to see. I mean, you already know the question, so you must have had a thought.
I did have thoughts about it because I read the whole piece where she's
post.
talking about, and I'll tell you the first thing that came to my mind about being able to pick up on energy is like, what is it that we expect when we pick up on energy? It's intuition. It's a gut feeling. This is my thought about it. Now, I don't know if this is Jamie, you were like,
we'll
I don't know. I don't really. So what I think of that is like when you walk into a room and there's bad energy in there, or you meet somebody.
But okay, try to explain this without using the word energy.
But
because that's where she gets lost. We call it energy, but what is it really that's going on?
It's the feeling that you get when you meet people. When you meet people, or you go places, or you encounter whatever situations where you're like, oh, I'm getting it. It's a vibration. So it's really not. It's that energy that you're like, this is a bad vibe, or this is a good vibe. That's the energy. Okay. To me. That was the first thing that came to my mind. And then she was asking, how do I do that? So part 2 of that is like, how do I start picking up on this? My answer to her there would be, is that this is when we need to spend some time in a meditative state, even if it's quieting our mind and listening to meditative music, even if you're not at the point where you can like sit down and meditate, but we have to be able to quiet our minds and be able to tune into the energetic, to the vibrations around us. We'll stop using energy because that seems to be a confusing word, to the vibration. So that was.
But even vibration would be like. So what I'm guessing is that this person might not be as empathic as some others. Like I think some of us are just born more empathic and can just feel a lot all the time, right? And I don't know what makes us different in that. I think it's our soul's journey. It's how we incarnate. It's the thing that we choose. Does it mean we're more or less elevated? I don't know about that. I think that we're given bodies that can either sense a lot or not based on the lessons that we need to learn here. So it's not like you're a better witch because you can feel everything. Not necessarily. That can cause a lot of anxiety and really problems. Yeah. You can't focus.
I'd rather not be an empath, but I am. Sometimes.
Okay, I had to write things down while you were talking because I will absolutely let them fly out of my head. So what I wrote down is using our bodies as a tuning fork. Like that was the image that came to me. Mm-hmm. If we want to understand how to work with energies, what Kat was talking about is like going inside yourself. You have to be able to observe your feelings and assess that in a way that's like, without touch, maybe even sound, but sound could be added to it because that's a vibration too. But you have to recognize the feeling part. So when vibrations come through to us, it creates the feeling. That's what intuition is. It's a feeling. We call it a gut feeling. But all the other feelings are relevant as that is what is happening to our body as a tuning fork, right? So imagine that a vibration hits a tuning fork and it either goes ding or nothing happens. I'm not sure it negatively vibrates, but imagine that if there was an experience that was bad for you, that negative feeling that you get, that is how, instead of using the word energy, it's to be observant of our own feelings in situations. How am I feeling right now? And that takes deep understanding of yourself. That's a little bit of shadow work, or it's self-assessment where you're not talking, you're just observing. And that's harder for people to do because we're usually interacting with our environment. It's not as likely that we go into an environment and sit there and just observe. But that's what it would take for you to, if you're brand new at trying to be an empath, you want to sit in a space and observe your feelings. You want to observe how the space is making you feel. Maybe you get anxious. Maybe you're super bored and you're like, there's nothing here for me. Go move to another location. Do the same thing there, out in the woods, by a pool. And you'll start to understand the feeling that you get in the different locations. And then you can assess them each time you go to a new location or you're around stuff. Like, okay, girls, there was this one meme, like, I don't know, years ago that my sister used to say to me all the time. She said, shopping, this is how girls go shopping. Oh, that's cute. Oh, that's cute. Oh, that's cute. Like, they don't necessarily buy anything, but they want to see everything and then call it cute or get excited about it. And so that's a feeling that you get when you're in these experiences. And if it makes you really happy, it's like, okay, now I understand what that feels like. I'm tuning into environments that make me happy. I'm tuning into environments that are not good for me or make me feel sad or depressed or unhappy, And then it's exposure. Like, I refuse to watch the news because my tuning fork goes upside down and wants to bury its head in the ground because I'm like, this shit's all bad. I don't want to deal with it. Like, I can't change it. It's on TV. I don't even know if it's real. I'm just going to like, what can I control in my little world? So the experiences that we give ourselves and understanding the feelings that we get from it, that's energy work. Observing your feelings. All right, I've covered both things that I wrote down. Your body as a tuning fork to understand the vibrations that you're getting in, and then to observe your feelings.
All right.
Yay!
Well, I think that was good.
Thank you. Well, you're complimenting me, right? Or just in general?
No, I think you did a good job.
I need the compliment.
I think you did a good job of explaining your
Okay.
body as a tuning fork and also going into a space and observing.
Observing.
Because if you go into a space and you do not observe, how are you going to be able to pick up on what's going on there?
Okay. It's like, all right, I'm going to do one example. One more example.
She's going to do an example. Okay,
You
it's
know, I just
live.
love this stuff. Okay, I'm sorry. Just really quick. All right. So it's like this. Say you go to a store, because now we start talking about like objects that resonate with us. Right? What is resonation? Your vibrations match. It resonates with each other. They're at the same level of vibration. So here I have is this rose quartz?
It's rose quartz.
Okay. It's so bright here that it
It
just
is. I mean, on the
the thing, it's like just a bright white.
It's just a bright white thing, but it's actually
We need to,
rose
like, turn
quartz.
our
It's
lights
very
down.
pale. It's very pale pink.
Okay, I'm turning my light down just a little bit. Oh, look, I have a face now. I'm not just
Oh
a
my
bright white
gosh.
object.
Oh my God! Look at that. We're not washed out.
Okay, this stone is still, but this is a rose quartz, like raw piece. So, not shaped. It's very rough. And then this is a more shaped piece of selenite. And the difference would be if you want to tune into which one is better for you or which one you connect with, as you hold them and observe them, it's like, which one am I more attracted to? That attracted feeling is part of the vibration of that item saying, oh, this really resonates with me. Like, this feels like it belongs with me.
This is for me.
This one, I'm like, okay, you're pokey, you're not smooth, I don't like you, blah, you go back in the bin. That would be an example of like looking at your witchy tools, your stuff, your places, the people. We all have that one person at least that we've met in our life that's like, you are not my vibe. I do not. Everything about you is just wrong to me, or something like that. Okay, that's it. That was my demonstration.
That was the show and tell
Okay.
for energy and
vibration and feelings. Yes, they're all connected.
Okay, so here is the next. This person was looking for a spell for their home. So first of all, let me give you the backstory on this. Her and her husband bought a home. Happened to be on Samhain last year, so Halloween. And stuff has started breaking all over the house. Like a water pipe broke, the air conditioning broke, like all these things around their house are breaking. So the question was, what kind of spell can I do for my home so that things can, stop breaking because they don't, they don't have maybe not have the money to. I mean, we're talking about an air conditioner. We're talking about a pipe. These are expensive repairs. So yeah, you want to stop that. So do you have any? What do you think about
All right.
that?
So first, I'm going to go logical. All right. We don't always have to approach everything from a witchcraft basis, but logically, is it just time for these things to break down? You bought a house. There was inspections done. Is it just time for these things to break down? If it's a brand new piece of equipment and it's breaking down, I would say, okay. And it's like multiple things that are like that. Yeah, then it's like, this is not normal, but we need to look at the timeline of normal and say, if this house is 25 years old and these things are going out and they're the original items, this is mundane work. This is just stuff that you need to take care of in your house. You've bought an older home, whatever. If this is like a brand new build and things start going out, yeah, that's when I would consider that there is an energy within it or within the household, your guys' relationship, people you bring into it, the habits that you have in the house that is just not conducive to the area. And that's why stuff stops working, right? I don't know where I said it, but the other day when I did the singing bowl, I told you about it at the house.
Yeah, the singing bowl where it stopped. Yeah.
It stopped like for no reason. I was like, whoa, that was weird. And then later at night, when I tried to turn on the lights, the light was out in that area. I was like, oh my gosh, I feel like that was a sign. Like I didn't take it as a bad sign. It was like, my light bulb's out. Something's broke over here. That's it. So my singing bowl literally just didn't ring in that corner. And
it stopped abruptly.
It stopped abruptly. It was very odd. So for me, it's not so much like sometimes people get into the scary things of this, like, oh, there's a poltergeist or there's a bad negative energy person thing lurking. Oh, it doesn't have to be all that. It's just drawing your attention to things. And sometimes when shit starts breaking all over your house, it's trying to notify you that you need to be more attentive to what's going on, and you've been overlooking your responsibilities. And because you're overlooking your responsibilities, little things start showing up like, if you don't take care of this, this is going to break. You already knew this was going on. So, not knowing her full situation of there could be some laziness or neglect for things. And so the universe is like, and this is one of your lessons that you need to learn is how to take care of a home and be domestic and do your checklist and whatever. So that's like 3 different approaches, but
well, it's interesting that you say that because I just read something about it's, how bad luck seems to come in threes, like when when it rains, it pours, those kind of sayings where it really does seem like, oh my God, like this week, like 3 big things have happened. Like what the hell is going on? Well, sometimes that is a result of our neglect because we have put things off. If you look to see, if you examine the things that have broken or gone wrong and back up to what's the story behind that? Because it's not always, and I liked your first approach, which sometimes I think we, especially as new witches, we want to look for the witchy thing, some kind of deeper meaning, or that we can solve every one of life's annoyances or problems with witchcraft, and we can't,
or we don't need to. I mean, you could try, but that's why we talk about magic versus mundane, right? Like the mundane things that we just got to do to keep stuff up,
right?
That's not spiritual. To replace your water heater, it's not a spiritual endeavor. It's a responsibility that's physical to maintain a good lifestyle.
Yeah, so I don't know what the deal is with the house, but I do think there's also, when I moved into this house, we did a protection spell. We did a whole salt thing all the way around my property, and then we came in house. Jamie came in. We did a whole blessing in here, and then we went through all the rooms and did. I think we burned sage, and then I cleaned and painted and all this stuff to get the prior owner's energy cleared from this space, so that the house could begin to know me and pick up my energy. And so I think that's an important step when you move. I feel like that's an important step when you go into any new space that you're going to live in.
Yeah.
The other thing that I think could be going on, it's possible, and again, we don't know what the situation in the house is, but if you have a lot of crap like all over the place, if you have clutter everywhere,
that place.
you're gonna have stuck energy. So if you got boxes piled up and things that you need to get rid of or things that you need to clean up, and it's just like, I don't want to say a hoarder house, but you know what I'm saying, when you just get kind of like, I got a pile of stuff that I need to take to Goodwill out in my garage, but I take stuff out there and put it in this little pile, and then
it's not forgotten about.
It's not forgotten. It's not just going to stay there forever, although my garage does need cleaning. But that pile that's there of just random stuff, and I'm like, I don't want this anymore, I'm going to donate it, is sitting there, and in a week or two, it's going to go to the back of my car and it's going to get donated to Goodwill. So point is, if you have a lot of crap around your house, this is a place where energy can get stuck. And then things can start either feeling off or like, I don't know if they break, like pipes bursting and air conditioners breaking down.
Now those could be signs from the universe because they're like, deal with your shit.
Yeah.
Deal with it. Or it's just going to because eventually a house like that can come crashing down, then it ruins your relationships. Then it sucks up other resources from you personally. The other thing with a lot of stuff laying around is that it obstructs the things that you actually need to work on because you're distracted by the piles of stuff. So clutter can actually distract us from the responsibilities that we have because it exhausts you to look at it,
Yeah.
That's part of that. That's an energy draw. It's an energy suck from you. Like all you're having is you walk in the house and you're like in a good mood, and then you see your pile of stuff you haven't dealt with. You're like, ugh. Go sit on the couch and scroll through Facebook for 5 hours or something.
Oh my God. That was how I was feeling because I was just like,
I know. That's why I said it because you said that. I was like, 5 hours? No. Nobody could spend 5 hours on Facebook.
You can get lost in reels. I can get lost in reels. Okay, I'm sorry, but I just can't.
Okay.
And if that doesn't work, then I'm flipping back and forth between Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and whatever else because I don't know, because maybe at that moment I don't want to deal with my life.
That's right. That's called... What's that called?
Avoidance.
That's avoidance behavior.
That's avoidance.
And it's okay for one day if you've had a shitty experience. It's okay for one day.
You have to
don't make a habit out of it.
I just realized I had to pull myself out of it. I'm like, okay, what do I need to pull myself out of it? So you know what I did? I turned on some music. Who has stereos anymore? Like nobody has stereos anymore. I grew up with stereos. and records and stuff like that, and big speakers in my living room. Those things don't exist anymore, you guys.
Wait, oh my gosh. Okay, I did see something crazy. I forgot to mention it to you. All right, you guys, we're originally from California and we moved a lot. So we had crates, like milk crates. Did anything else come in crates? I mean, I don't even know, but we had the
We
regular.
literally, like, there were
crates.
milk crates from
Milk
the store
crates.
that we
And they were
stole from the back of the store.
Oh, they weren't free? I thought it was like pallets where they're just like, we don't need this anymore. Oops.
No,
Okay.
you actually had
Well,
to go.
I didn't know I was stealing my whole life, so thank you for that. Now I know. Okay, so
We were poor. We made do with what we could get.
what I love about this is like I grew up with milk crates as our shelving units and our side tables and in the bedroom for stuff and whatever.
Like I said, we were poor. We
Okay.
made do.
Here's you guys this week at Target, they are selling crates as decor, and I was like, it came all the way back around to that. Now, like people are buying them as an aesthetic in a store, and this was like what we picked up that were dirty, and they were always bad colors. You think they were pretty? No,
No, they were
No.
red and
Brown.
blue and brown and
scraped up.
yeah.
I bet if you got
Yeah.
close enough, they smelled bad too, but I don't.
No, they didn't. All right.
So I just thought that was really funny. Like the throwback to crates is
Well,
popular
and I
now
just
as
wonder,
decor.
like, when's the last? Do they still have crates behind grocery stores like they used to a long time ago? Does anybody know? I don't go looking anymore, so
I've never.
I moved past that, I guess.
We're no longer stealing crates from behind stores. That's a positive.
Listen, this
movement.
was my Desert Hot Springs days, and so it was like the early '80s, and the kids were really young, and I was pretty poor. Okay,
Yeah. Okay.
but
That
you know
was
the
our-
crates. The thing about it is the crates stick around forever. Like
They
once you
last
collect
forever.
them, they last forever because they never break down. They don't ever break down.
And they were the perfect size of a record. So like records fit in them perfectly.
Yes.
Coincidence?
And they could, and when you move, they could handle heavy stuff.
Yeah.
You know, like
they didn't
you could-
break.
They didn't break. Yeah.
All
right.
Okay. We got off on a small
Sorry.
tangent about crates, but I love it. I
All
just think
right.
it's
What's
cool.
your last question? Or are you?
No, I think I did too.
Oh,
Didn't
did
I?
you?
Vibrations and no, I didn't. I have one question. Oh
Well,
no,
one
it's
question is 7:30. Sorry, guys. We're gonna
Okay.
be late again.
This is
We're
gonna
so
be. I think this is gonna be quick though.
sorry. Okay.
All right. Have you ever worked with any deities, and how did you know about them to work with them?
I have not worked with deities.
Ever?
No.
Ever,
I haven't.
Ever? No, just kidding.
I mean, I just haven't. I mean, no. Okay, for me personally, deities have not been part of my spiritual journey up to this point, but recognize that I'm only in this like 4 years now. So I'm pretty new. And so maybe at some point in time, I mean, I've been curious about them. I'm like, oh, well, what's that one? But I've never been drawn to like have a figure or like, to me, it's almost like worshiping. And I don't know.
That's
It's
okay.
almost like worshiping, like, because I grew up Catholic. So there was like Jesus on the cross in my house, and I went to church, and it was so for me, a deity, like to have a statue or something that I'm honoring or recognizing, or it kind of feels like that. And so I
Feels
might
too
be
religious.
it might be that I'm like resistant to it only because of my religious background.
Yeah.
So it's not been a thing for me. But what about you?
Okay. Well, since you haven't worked with one, can you name any deities that you know?
Yeah, Kate, or however you say it.
Yes.
I know that's the only one that I can think of like often. I know there's more, but that's the only one I can think of off the top of my head.
Okay, I love that.
How do you say it? You don't even know, do you?
Yeah, it's Hecate.
Hecate. So
No.
I know what I know about her is like she is the protector of witches.
Yeah.
Okay.
We did a story about that way back.
Even though we can't say it.
I said it wrong for so long because I'm dyslexic. So I always said Hecate, and that's definitely not
That's
how
how I
it's
say
spelled.
it.
That's probably because I taught her, and I'm dyslexic, you guys. So
It runs in the family.
my word for shampoo was Pam Shoe. So there you go. So the deities can't be mad at me when I mess it up. Like that's not my fault. So it's really hard for me to change it when I learn the correct way to say something. I'm like, oh no, but I've been saying it that way for so long. I can't undo it. Persephone is definitely like,
Persephone is a deity.
yeah, she's a Greek goddess.
Okay.
Yeah. So deities come from all backgrounds of
Yeah, because
Yeah,
I know
religion,
Persephone, but
the
she's
pantheons.
Yeah,
It's a deity. Yeah, it's a god or
okay,
goddess.
so
So she's goddess of the underworld, queen of the
Okay.
spring.
Okay.
But
Oh, well, I know how much you love Persephone.
I do love
You have a
Persephone.
Persephone dress, don't you?
I do, a whole outfit.
A whole
And a
outfit.
crown for her too.
Yeah, she's like.
I was Persephone one year for Halloween, which I just loved. So working with deities and how to know is really just through research. So what I would tell this person is like, the only time I have worked with deities, like I've never really truly worked with Persephone, even though I love her. I love her story. I love everything about her and Demeter's relationship. And I like how she, unfortunately was drugged to the underworld and, all of that. Like her story can be, in some cases, it's like it's rape and all kinds of shit that's really bad. But I think of it in terms of the holiday, the seasons, and that it flips from, the story of Demeter and Persephone is how we get our seasons in that mythology. And that's what I love about it. So I'm such a seasons person. I'm such a holiday, like watching the Wheel of the Year. I love that so much. That's probably why I chose her. And she's two opposing things, which I can truly relate with. I always feel like I'm like two people, or I can be two people. Like I'm myself when I'm in my safe place, and then I'm like that, happy, shiny person that people expect to see when I'm at work or something. I don't know. Not anymore.
Well, I have a question.
Yeah.
So when somebody says work with deities, what does that mean, work with deities?
All right. I will give one of my few examples. The last time I worked with a deity was for my marriage. I was getting married in June, and so I picked Juno/Hera, which is, I look at the pantheons together and how they line up, so I don't mind which one is called what. And all I did was ask for a blessing. Like I made sure that I had a pomegranate there. I did do you remember my hand fasting cord rope? Okay, so at my wedding we did a hand fasting, and so I made a mini hand fasting of all of my cords that I was going to use in the wedding that I knew I was going to have. And so I made this little mini hand fasting that I carried on my person for like 6 months before the wedding, just asking for the blessing and like saying, like, I did ask for something selfish. I was like, please don't rain on my wedding day. I was like, please have good weather. That's what I said. But Selena loves Persephone.
So Selena, well, wait a minute. Susanna says if you want to get to know deities, include them in your seasonal celebrations.
Because they relate to so many things, and it's just if I was to reference a book, how about this? How to know which deities to work with. There is that book called Moon Goddesses, or something like that. Oh shoot. I think it's actually called Moon Power, and in it is all of the moon goddesses. And that
I think I have that.
Yeah, that's my Butler. Last name Simone Butler. Love her books. So I think it's just about, if you've been exposed to mythology of any kind, you start to understand that there's gods and goddesses, and those are deities. So a deity can also be Jesus and Mary and any of the people within the Bible. It can be anything from any religious source. Those are all still considered deities that you can work with.
And you don't like have to have a statue or a picture, because I know that some people have, like, who's is it the redheaded, the real pretty redheaded Irish one, or Celtic? Oh my gosh.
Ooh,
okay. I want to say it's Brienne, but that's not the right name.
Oh, Bridget.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. So there's Bridget. So that's one that I've seen.
Because
I know people. We had somebody in our group that a gentleman in our group, in our meetup group, and he had this like gorgeous picture of Bridget and a whole altar for Bridget. But I guess for me, when I see that, I just remember the Catholic ceremonies at church and with Jesus with the cross
ideology,
and it just sort of just like not really my thing yet, at least at this point in my journey. So
I think if you can find a reason to
connect with the deity,
connect with them in a way that's like, I love what they represent, and it's just a representation, like how colors are representations, stones are representations of something. Deities are also just representations of a wish or a goal that you're seeking, and you're giving them life. So if we were to give life to crystals through animism, that it would be the same thing, that everything has I want to say soul, but a spirit. Everything has a spirit. Everything has a life force in it.
An energy.
Here we go with energy again. Everything has a feeling about it. And working with deities is just that same way. You have a feeling about them. They've been called into your life or something. You can explore them. Working with them can just look like, You research them, you look at what they represent, and then you're just like, that is so cool. I love that there's something that exists there. If anybody wants to read something that is a fictional book, but it's really fun to read about the different gods and goddesses, there is a book by, oh gosh.
Hold on, Melissa. We're going to answer your question in just a
Go
second.
ahead. You answer the question. I got to look it up.
So Melissa wanted to know the books and then the author.
Yes.
So the the author is Simone Butler. And then
there's Moon Power.
She has a lot of Simone Butler's.
There's like 3 or 4. It's not a lot, but there's
one that is.
It's Moon Power.
Moon Power. Sure. I think I have it. I'm gonna go.
Yeah, it's the big thick one. Because she broke her stuff down into smaller books, and one's called like 10-minute moon rituals. There's another one that's 10 minutes something. So she did some smaller books, which are really cool, and they still mention the goddess in there. But in her bigger book called Moon Power, she has pages of information on the different deities from all backgrounds. Like there's an Egyptian one. There's there's a big one.
But you know what? But I think this one doesn't she have the deities in here?
She does, yeah.
Okay, so here's one of her books.
If you get the author,
yeah, Simone Butler.
Great books.
Look for books by her, and then Jamie says there's a big one. I don't think I have that one.
You don't have the big one by her? Yeah, I love it. But I wanted to give you guys a fictional book that can be really fun to read through that shows the gods and goddesses as characters that only exist as long as we believe in them. Super interesting. I think they were going to do a show or a movie about it. It might be out there. Shit. I read it so long ago. Hold on. I'm looking through my Audible right now, you guys. I'm sorry. Mom, be entertaining.
All right. So once we figure I remember your book with the deities in it because
American Gods.
American Gods
is, I actually think it is a show. Yeah, it says TV tie-in. Okay, so they did make a show about this, and it's super interesting to see the deities as people interacting with the humans of the world, giving them faith or showing up for them, or when people stop believing in them, they stop existing. Like it's just a cool thing. Like about if there's nobody there to pray to you, do you still exist or something? If there's nobody there to remember you, not pray to you, what the hell? Do you still exist? But American Gods is it's a book, and I guess it's also a TV show, but it's by Neil Gaiman. He's a British guy. He has amazing, interesting fiction books.
So this book, you guys, by Simone Butler, The Moon Rituals, and I think these are 10-minute moon rituals.
Yeah.
And each one of them, and you're not going to be able to see it, but each one of them lists the goddess. So this, I just opened my page to Scorpio and Lilith. So it tells you a little bit about Lilith as an ancient dark moon goddess, so powerful that she was demonized by Orthodox religions as a lustful sorceress and child-killing witch. She can create and destroy at will. I like her already.
Susanna says American Gods is on Stars. It's spectacular. The book is so good too. Listen. The book is so good. Oh,
all right, you guys. Well, it's 7:43. We're so sorry we went over. We just jabber sometimes. Jabber. So anyway, thank you very much, all of you who are here. I hope we said hello to everybody. Melissa, Susanna, Kay Hopper, none of your business.
That's a person on here.
Selena.
Yes.
Did I say Selena?
Yes.
And who else is up here?
Leanne.
Jenny.
Cooper.
And thank you all for being here.
Yes,
and
thank you guys.
we will see you next week.
Yeah, we got four more Witch Reacts, and then we start Tarot.
And I saw your recommendations. Somebody put a recommendation for, let me
try Tarot Decoded.
Tarot Decoded,
yeah,
yes.
Leanne said that. Thank you,
So
Leanne,
the one that we're, just so you know, the one that we're actually using to build this course is called 78 Degrees of Wisdom by Rachel Pollack.
Okay, we're using
we're using some of it. It's my basis. That's how I started it.
Insane amount of
but it is overwhelming amount of information that I've had to decipher, like pull out, like what can I teach that makes sense. So, but it's a classic book. Rachel Pollack it was first published in like 1980 or 1981.
Wow.
And people that are tarot commentators, they cite this book all the time.
Yeah.
But it's very deep. It's very, very deep. It has a lot of religious. She tells so many stories. It's almost
It's hard to follow.
It's almost mind-boggling. You can't. It's hard to keep
It's a little
straight.
hard to follow. We're gonna break it down and make it easy. You
Yes.
guys, this is the new witches meetup. This is the new Witch Academy of Modern Magic. We're not trying to get you to like the 10th degree of somewhere. Like we're gonna break it down in easy to digest sessions and lessons.
Yeah.
Yes. That's how we're gonna do it.
All right.
Okay.
Thanks,
We
you
will
guys.
see you next week. Have a wonderful weekend. Bye.
Bye.